Please welcome to the stage President Emerita and Honorary Founding Mother of the Ms. Foundation for Women, Marie C. Wilson.
Put your favorite heels on, 'cause they make you feel strong. When you're looking good, you know you're gonna have a good time. Don't forget mascara.
Okay. It is my honor to present the Marie C. Wilson Emerging Leader Award to 4 dynamic leaders who together were co-chairs of the National Women's March. But let us first take a painful journey back to November 9th. Just a little. The day after the presidential election, when many of us woke up, if we slept at all, with a deep feelings of anger, sadness, and disbelief that we were already in mourning for the world we had known before. Remarkable women, Tamika Mallory, Carmen Perez, Linda Sarsour, Bob Bland, took their passions to another level, organizing the largest single protest in U.S. history. Tamika Mallory is an outspoken champion for social justice, who among her many achievements served as a national organizer for the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington. Yes, and as National Action Network's youngest executive director, Carmen Perez has dedicated her life to advocating for civil rights, and is the co-founder of Justice League New York City and founder of Justice League California. Linda Sarsour, Executive Director of the Arab American Association of New York. She has been at the forefront of major social justice campaigns in New York City and nationally. And Bob Bland, CEO and founder of Manicure New York, is an international speaker and advocate for domestic manufacturing and ethical supply chains. Together as national co-chairs of the Women's March, they worked day and night in the weeks leading to January 21st, building new relationships, bridging long-standing gaps in our movements, articulating an inclusive intersectional platform for change, and disproving critics and skeptics all along the way. Thanks to them, our voices were heard loudly and clearly that day. And these women are nowhere close to done. Nowhere close. Now it is my distinct pleasure to welcome these visionaries to the stage with our deepest thanks. Welcome Tamika, Carmen, Linda, and Bob.
How's everybody doing tonight? Y'all gotta do better than that, New York City. How are you doing tonight? So my name is Linda Sarsour, and I was one of the national co-chairs for the Women's March on Washington. And I'm also a very proud and unapologetic member of the resistance. And I wanted to tell Sydney something. Today, as you were up here, as we were all inspired by you, I wanted to give you some news. FIBA, the International Basketball Association, just approved a new policy that would allow Muslim women to compete with hijab on the international level. When we fight, we win. It is a great honor to accept this award on behalf of every woman, of all the organizers of the Women's March and our allies who came out on January 21st in the largest single-day protest in U.S. history. We are honored to be here alongside so many outstanding activists and to see women of color being recognized for their courageous leadership and vital work. Thank you to the Miss Foundation for selecting such a transformative group of women and for demonstrating the kind of conscious leadership our world needs. As we strive to build unity and solidarity in the fight for women's rights, one of the most destructive forces is the tendency to exclude the struggles of women of color from the definition of women's issues. This is why the Women's March was intentional in centering the leadership of women of color. The rise of hatred and violence may be shocking and new to some women, but is a force that women of color knew well before our current president ran for office. Our movements against oppression must hold on to the truth that those closest to the problem are also closest to the solution. That means building coalitions and organizing across issues for racial justice and gender justice, immigrant rights, LGBTQ liberation, environmental justice, and economic equality. The unity principles created for the Women's March, which were dubbed the most progressive and bold principles anyone has ever seen, were for all of us to stand up for each other and refuse to fall into the trap of divide and conquer, making alliances for partial gains that leave our sisters behind. We demand a world with leaders that stand up for all these issues. Our greatest hope is that women will create a groundswell of political participation and will work to get us free together. That's right. The women of color who led the Women's March, we are not new to this fight. We have been out on these streets for 2 decades fighting for racial justice, criminal justice reform, anti-gun violence, and immigration. The women of color who led the Women's March and the women being honored here tonight with us on the stage are a model for all girls of all backgrounds, but especially for girls of color. It matters to see women who look like them leading and taking on the issues that affect them and their families. And it matters to see millions of white women stand up for those same issues even when unaffected by them. We stand on the shoulders of giants. Thank you to Gloria for her wisdom and leadership, as well as for serving as honorary co-chair alongside Dolores Huerta, Angela Davis, Harry Belafonte, and LaDonna Harris. These legendary figures paved the way for our freedom, and yes, we won't go back. Resist, 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 resist. Come on, New York City, resist, 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 resist.